Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the Clever Report. It's yours truly, Peter Clever. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. Today, I want us to talk about the NYSC. For those that are not Nigerians on this channel, it means the National Youth Service or National Youth Service Corps. It was established in the year 1973, May 22nd, 1973, by General Yakubu Gowon after the Civil War that lasted from 1967 to 1970. It was established for harmony, integration, so that people, because there was ethnic ambiguity, there was hostility amongst the ethnic groups, especially from the Igbos to the Hausas. So General Yakubu Gowon, it was a military degree 2024. He established this orientation, this kind of paramilitary organization, whereby after your university is form of just like the way the people in Israel they serve for 1 year on serve on the IDF for 1 year. That is the same equivalent or functional equivalent of NYSC in Nigeria. So the whole program is geared towards integration, sending you so that they will, for the national unity and national development, they will contribute. You contribute 1 year doing national service work, doing community development service, CDS, contributing, basically contributing to the economy, pouring out to the next generation. For me, when I served in a school, so I taught students. So it's kind of the whole initiative is very, very good. The idea behind it is very, very good, regardless of how you feel about General Yakubu Gowon. But now, over the years, due to this insecurity, NYS in Nigeria has become a death trap. Core members can never move from point A to point B without being afraid of their lives or without being afraid of these jihadists, these terrorists terrorizing the northern part of Nigeria. Now, it brings us to the story of Abba. Abba is just an NYC core member that wanted to serve his country, wanted to have that 1 year of experience, wanted to pour back to the country he feels that has given him most of the things he has. That has given him the opportunity to go to school, learn one or two things. But tragedy struck. He was moving from Zamfara, Gusau, and Zamfara to Sokoto State when he was abducted by these Fulani terrorists. When he was abducted, they contacted his family and they requested 10 million naira, 10 good million naira. And of course, everybody knows that the country is very hard. His family couldn't come up with the money, so they had to crowdfund, GoFundMe, and people, it became national news when there is a video of terrorists or these kidnappers beating the young man, threatening to kill him. And this video made round on social media, and our security services were so mute about it. It is very, very crazy. It is mind-boggling that the most populous black country in the world, terrorist organizations, they make videos of abducted victims, and by virtue of being an NYC core member, you are basically the property of the federal government. But the federal government failed this boy. This young man just lost. It's very, very appalling. So when they requested the 10 million naira, the family went to hell and back and was able to come up with this amount. Crazy, very poor family. When they came up with the amount, the auntie delivered the amount to the specific location provided by the kidnappers, delivered the amount, and there was no proof of life. There was no proof of life during all these discussions and everything. When she delivered the whole amount, these terrorists requested for other items like motorcycle. And obviously, the family that just carved out 10 million naira, that they don't have the money. They could not afford it. So there was radio silence. The kidnappers cut off communication with the family. And now the family has come out to say that they think the guy is no longer alive. Imagine how disheartening this is. Your child went to serve the country for 1 year, moving from Zamfara to Sokoto, and he was kidnapped. The family, yesterday being the 6th of March 2026, the family observed what is called the janaza. In the Muslim world, the janaza is just like an absentia, in absentia, to say a funeral rite, because they generally think the guy is dead at this point. This is the problem. I remember earlier last year or late last year when a certain core member, Rai, criticized the government of this particular APC government or this Tinubu-led government. The security agencies in Nigeria, they were so swift to come up with her details, started threatening her, threatening her with withholding her NYC certificate and other things. But for some weird reason, this made national news. The story of Abba made national news. But our security agencies could not locate get the location of these bandits or these terrorists, these kidnappers, and rescue this guy. And this guy is the property of the federal government essentially. The federal government failed Abba. It is so obvious that the federal government failed Abba. And the problem is that they still want to gaslight us and tell us that we're unpatriotic for bringing these stories to the forefront or to the media. Our mainstream media is in lockstep with the government. They will not say anything. They hardly cover stories like this. Even when they cover it, they find a way to show for the government. But independent journalists like us are being told that we are unpatriotic, that we are demarcating the country, we are painting the country in bad light. But this is crazy. The lives and properties of the country, of the citizens rather, can never be secured under this administration. People are dying on a daily basis, and we are so desensitized towards that we see it as a normal thing in Nigeria now. This is crazy. Nigeria just happened to Abba. But trust the Nigerian government, they sent out one of their shields, Reno Mokri, the newly appointed ambassador to Mexico. He came out and started shilling for the government as usual. So I want us to watch what he had to say, and then I'll give you my take on that.
Well, I believe in the City Boy movement, and I'm going to tell you why. Recently, some people who should know better said that Nigeria is now worse off than it was 10 years ago. Now, let me take your minds back to what was happening 10 years ago. In the Niger Delta, we had Niger Delta Avengers. They had bombed the oil and gas sector. Nigeria had gone from 1.9 million barrels per day to less than 1 million barrels per day. In the southeast, you had secessionists who had put that region almost to a standstill. 128 police stations were shut down. We moved down to the northwest, and then from Abuja to Kaduna, you could not drive. Every day it was a death trap. People were being abducted, they were being kidnapped. In southern Kaduna, there was a genocide. People seem to have forgotten that. In the northeast, in Maiduguri, you had about 7 local governments where Boko Haram were in control. Now, because we have a very short memory in this country, we tend to forget about these things. All of these things have passed away. In the Nigerian Defense Academy, Boko Haram went there. Our Defense Academy killed soldiers. Boko Haram attacked the Presidential Guard of Brigades in Buhari. All of these things don't happen. 600 terrorists went with their motorbikes to Kuje prison, freed 849 of their colleagues. All of these things don't happen again. 10 years ago, states could not pay salaries. What's happening right now? Each state in Nigeria is getting at least 200% what they were getting 10 years ago. Somebody said the president is using jazz. No, the president is using performance. We've had 12 cycles of trade surpluses in this country. 12 cycles of GDP growth in this country. The IMF, the World Bank, they've projected that our GDP is going to grow by 4.44% this year. And then people are saying that the president is using jazz. No, it is performance. You watching this, have you ever slept in a petrol station looking for fuel? Have you even experienced fuel scarcity? If you're a student, ASU strike is like a thing of the past, ancient history. Why? Because we have a leader right now who knows how to handle this country because he has gone through the stages. That's why I believe in the City Boy movement. I ask you, these people who are saying that Nigeria was better 10 years ago, let them right now. Because if you remember, last year I drove with journalists without any security from Abuja to Kaduna. People can do that right now. In southern Kaduna, people are no longer being killed. Yes, we have security issues localized. But I'm going to tell you, in December, 1.2 million tourists visited Nigeria, Lagos for Dirty December. Not one was killed. Not one robbery. Not one domestic incident. So I'm telling you, Nigeria is better right now. We've gone from a foreign reserve of less than 30 billion. Right now, we have a foreign reserve of 50 billion, approaching 51 billion. In 2 years, President Tinubu has added $67 billion to the economy. What is there not to like? That's why I support the City Boy movement, and I'm urging you, remember where we're coming from so that you remember where we are today. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.
Sometimes I think these people are psychopaths because they do not have any strength, they don't have any conscience in them. Defending the government of Nigeria is a thankless job, this current APC-led government, because it's indefensible unless you are a sociopath that will not see what is happening in Nigeria. It is very, very, very indefensible. You cannot defend what is happening. But for some weird reason, Mokri saw a way. He saw a way to find a way to basically shoot for the government anytime he on his camera. This is crazy. If a core member such as Abba could not, the government has failed him, they could not rescue him for the death of these kidnappers. what is happening to the average person in Nigeria? This is the plight of the average person in Nigeria. The average person in Nigeria cannot afford to eat, but now his or her lives and properties are not even secured. And this is our daily reality in Nigeria. And so, some weird reason they want to tell us that bringing this into the forefront of the media, or trying to tell these stories to the international community, makes us unpatriotic, and that is very, very crazy. That is all I'm going to say about that. So, if Abba is still alive, I just hope that he comes back to his parents. But if he is, if he has been murdered by these evil bandits, I pray for the happy repose of his soul. That's all I'm going to say about that. So make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. See you. Peace.